Morning, guys. Greb's going out there to chop a little bit of corn. We take a look at the stalks here. They're getting pretty ripe, pretty good to go for corn chopping. As you can see, they're filling out. We're slowly running out of corn here. That's why we're doing this. Corn will come off in the next 2 or 3 weeks, as you know, obviously. So today we're chopping some corn. Basically, we only have one silo. When our silo runs out of feed, we run out of feed, so we need to go out in the field and chop some fresh stuff. Is it as efficient and good for the cows as if it would ferment for 5 days? No, but it's just what we got to do. It's just how we got to do it. So today we're going to be out here, chopping a little bit of corn to that feeder for the cows. We'll probably let it ferment overnight for a little while, a couple hours, let some of those acids and juices run out of the corn, and then we'll give it to the cows. So we're going to go out there. This will be the first corn chopping of 2024. So guys, you can tell a lot about the chopper by the way it cuts. As you can see right here, how this step's kind of bent over. This one's chopped a little bit weird. This one's really chopped weird. That means those knives on there are extremely dull. We'll probably sharpen them before we start corn chopping, obviously. So basically, we got a 2-row corn chopper. We only like running 1 row at a time. A little easier on our equipment for doing small stuff like this. Once we get going and we get stuff greased up and sharpened up, then we'll run 2 rows at a time. But right now, the chopper's obviously very dull. So yeah, very full of crop. Not the best crop we've ever had in the world, not the thickest crop. Obviously the stems are pretty shallow, pretty small. So yeah, obviously you can see right here we're running 2 rows, but pretty good crop. These outer rows don't look as well, not as strong, not as tall. As you go in, it should get better in theory, but not our best crop we've ever had this year. But if you're joining, I'm sure we'll have some great crop next year, and just keep getting better and learning and whatnot. So we're gonna close the chopper here for a second. Pretty good stuff. You want the kernels to be crushed like some of these are. Pretty crushed kernels. That's good feed. If they're whole, as they say, once you eat corn, corn stays on the cob. You cannot digest corn technically without it being broken or crunched up. Same as cattle. If it's not kind of crunched up or broken, you cannot digest it. Calves are a little bit different, but for beefers, you gotta crush those kernels, get them broken open, get that juice out of there so they can dry properly too as well. Obviously in humans, you got your teeth crunched up pretty good, but in cattle, it needs to, the kernel needs to break in silage. That's what's happening, meaning our chopper is set right for depth wise to crunch those kernels correctly. you might be asking why I'm chasing after them right now. Last year, 2 years ago, we had some extreme problems with our chopper. There's little safety bolts on the chopper. Basically, those will snap to make sure the chopper doesn't break itself if something's wrong. We kept fixing stuff on the chopper. It kept breaking. And eventually we did find it. There was a blade rubbing and it caused a little bit of friction, which caused the bolts to break. So we got that figured out, but it just kept breaking every time. You'd go like probably 30, 40 feet and then it'd snap again. So this year, obviously we're gonna be out here and making sure that our chopper's working properly so we don't spend 4 hours out here and we can fix the problem right away instead of going back to the farm, because if that chopper broke right now, you have to drive all the way back because we don't have any tools on that tractor to help fix that, other than some minor tools to help that. Luckily, our fields are pretty close to our farm, so not a huge issue, but still irritating. So guys, we're gonna pull a cob off here. I'm gonna show you a little bit about the cob. We'll take a look at it, see how she looks. So we'll open it up. This is a tassel on top. Peel back the ears. As you can see, the corn is not developing all the way to the top, which on some brands you do get that. We usually want a pretty full crop. Corn cob's usually that long. This one's a little bit shallower. These dents are usually when you want to start combining it. This is called the milk line. When the milk line starts to come in, that's when you want to chop. So this is getting very close to being able to chop. Probably in the next 2 weeks-ish, we'll fill up our silo, or when our silo runs out. Obviously, these are probably still pretty full of water and juices. We don't want all that juice in our silo. Doesn't do our silo well and doesn't do the cattle well. But obviously, you can see the milk line starting to protrude back into the corn cob itself. Obviously, this one wasn't too long, but maybe we'll try another brand next year, or a different brand, see if we can get a much fuller crop. Obviously, not all of them are dented. You can see some of them are not dented, some of them are dented. When all the kernels on the corn cob are dented, that's when it's time to chop. Like most of them here are dented. Some of them are not. Some of them are not as deep. Others are very dented, and so forth and so on. So what does the dent mean? The dent basically means the milk line's going in, as I said, and it's almost ready to chop. So that's how we kind of judge when we're about to be able to chop or not. And obviously, like I said, we can't have juices in our silage. It wrecks the silos. It's not good for the cattle. So more you know. Brought it back to the home farm, guys. We're gonna take a look at our chopper setup here because everyone's interested in that as well. So we run a Gale 865 green, or not green chopper. This is the same chopper we use for both chopping hay, straw, and corn. These heads interchange. You pull the pin, you take this chain off, pull the pin, slide this head off, put the new head on, put the chain back on, put the pins in. This is our header. 2 rows. Obviously, these funnel the corn into the middle, get chopped, get crimped up there, and then there's some blades behind it to chop even further, and then they get swung around, blown into the wagon. Hooked up to our 1486. As well as a nicer chopper, like I said, and as before, you can adjust the boom right there, left, right, up and down, forward and backwards. This has 2 options. You can see the lever right there for forward and neutral and backwards, meaning you can switch the chopper from going forwards, which means chopping, and reverse in case you get stuck. Say if the chopper gets bogged up, you can put it in reverse and then slowly feed this corn back in there, getting it unstuck. It's a pretty nice feature. They put it on all of them. This one does have it. That's all electric, a little electric motor, make that turn. Like I said, it's a pretty nice model. Hooked up to our 1486, this thing delivers beautiful amounts of power for our chopper. It's a beautiful machine. Doesn't leak any oil, nothing, doesn't burn it either. Beautiful machine. Yeah, so this is our Gale 865. 2 hydraulics, one to push it out, one to raise and lower the head, as I said. So our knives are pushed right back into here. You'd flip open this cover here, and our knives are right up in here, as you can see. This is the little blower I was talking about that would spin like that, blow the silage out the chute. That's also adjusted up in the cab as well. We do have 2 hitch points. We use this one more often than we use this one. That one's for more you know, bigger jobs. We don't use it. So This does come standard too with a little toolbox for all the tools. This is where we keep the safety pins. This is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about our safety pins. They're pretty small. Some more down here. Sockets, change them out. So we can do a little bit of maintenance out in the field. Not as much as at the home farm, obviously. So yeah, pretty nice setup, pretty cool setup. And Bob's your teapot, there she is. So if you guys ain't got any more questions about this setup at all, or about any of our corn operations, obviously they'll be answered pretty soon. And yeah, so thank you guys for watching. Have a beautiful day.